Good morning, everybody. This is the Oskar Quentin debate show, or whatever it is. I argue with people about politics and stuff. They call in on TikTok Live. We disagree about things. That's the show. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube in VOD form, podcast form, you can find a pinned comment below that'll tell you when the first call starts, as well as some more specific timestamps in the description below. W. Raven, who gets paid to do those. She's doing a great job. Anyway, I do have a couple people to thank right away because Mike sent me $100 on Buy Me a Coffee. And I once again missed it because I'm I'm pretty careful to watch for the Buy Me a Coffees during the show, but I'll forget to check if any come in when the show is not live. He sent me $100 at like a random time a couple days ago, so thank you so much. Not the first time he's done that, and not the first time I've missed it for a couple of days. So W's in the chat for Mike if you're one of the early birds who's already here watching the stream. And same goes for Kronos, who's a pretty regular viewer whose name gets said on the show a lot because he gives a lot of super chats over on YouTube. He contributes a lot to the dialogue, but he's not going to be here today. He sent me $75 on Venmo to say, Kronos here, it's my day off, birthday, and payday all in one. I get to be watching you, so have a good, and I get to be watching you. Oh, he is going to be watching. He just felt like sending $75 to start the show off. Thank you so much, Kronos. He says, so have a good stream today, Oscar, Jesse, and Raven. It is Jesse's day off, so I do not have my live producer in the other chair, so it's just going to be me. Oh, man, I'm already spoiled. I'm already sitting here wishing Jesse was sitting over there so I could not have to pay attention to all this shit on the screen. Hello, Scout. Good morning. How's your day going, Scout? We get some W's in the chat for Scout. Oh, and the only message in the Discord is asking me to give Kronos a birthday shout out. I should have put more attention on that. Happy birthday, Kronos. My birthday is coming up. It's at the end of this month. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. I might do nothing. maybe I take a day off. I keep forgetting to like dig through my VODs and see exactly when the last day I didn't stream was, because I think the last day that I didn't do the show in some form was March. I think there were 2 days at the beginning of April, like in the second, like maybe second week of April, where I was banned I got a 72-hour ban, which meant there were 2 calendar days where I couldn't do the show. But other than that, I think I'd been on a streak of going live every single day for like 20 or 30 days already. And then it was mid-April, I think, that I started numbering the episodes and uploading them all in their entirety, because they were... Really what it was is that I'd been good enough at debating for long enough. I was happy with my performance. It was just that there came a point where the amount of showtime that was taken up by callers versus me just sitting here yapping like I'm doing right now, there was a point where that became more than 50, 60, 70%. Like suddenly the show was actually mostly calls, and I felt like it was good enough to package into a single episode that people would actually just want to listen to. So that's when I started numbering them. But I think for like 10 or 20 days before that, they did get uploaded in their entirety just without numbers. They were just dated. So yeah, I'm on a fucking hot streak of streaming every day. That's kind of the way I've kept myself diligent with it, is that like everything else just kind of works out if I make sure I dedicate enough hours in the week to editing and stuff, as long as I just do the fucking show every fucking day. So, occasionally a clip gets edited ahead of time. We had a crash out on Sunday that I wanted to post right away. But for the most part, even though we're like a week or two behind on clips right now, like the rule has just been like, don't let stuff get lost. Like don't let it keep piling up. It is piling up right now, but we're working away on it at it from the beginning. And I'm training people to edit for me, so there's all that going on. Anyway, enough housekeeping. Oh, actually, one more piece of housekeeping. I see you in the request queue. I am going to bring you up, but I'm going to bring somebody else up first. I'm going to bring me up because I want to make sure that everybody who watches the show on TikTok gets to following the backup account, so that when this main account gets banned, there we go. Join. There we go. Oh no, see, I think I figured it out. I need to mute myself after I join. And I mixed it up. So I'm gonna... Oh, okay, hold on. I did it out of order. We gotta do it again. Let's get the backup account in there. Request. Accept. Join. And then we need to mute. There we go. Okay, yeah, so click on here and Linktree in the bio if you want to get this followed on other places if you're watching this after the fact. All the backup accounts are in there, as well as the Discord and all that stuff, and the pay links if you want to contribute to the show, like Kronos and Mike already did before today's episode started. All right, we're going to talk to Kloorox, Kloorox, and we're going to see if he's a serious caller. How old are you?
So I'm 24. How did you manage to get your account banned? I mean, I host some pretty horrific lives, and I never get my shit banned.
I accidentally used the phrase political self-unaliving, but I didn't say it the TikTok way. I accidentally said it passed through my like personal TikTok filter in my brain because I didn't consider that I was actually caught it. Yeah,
that was the only thing.
That was it. That was what it was. They like sent me the clip. They were like, "You were banned for this 26."
Yeah, that's fine. Look, that's fine. I'd like to start this off just by paraphrasing and just saying, fuck George Floyd, fuck Carmelo Anthony, fuck BLM. They're all terrorists.
Camera on. So. If we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it with the cameras on. Let's see that pretty face.
I love that. I love that you're, out of all people, telling me to turn my camera on. That's funny.
You can see my face.
I have photos.
Camera on. No. Here, you know what? Let's see. Let's invite you to turn on your camera.
A pussy.
I'm gonna mute you. I'm just gonna say camera on, dude. Like, I'm not fucking doing it. I'm not interested in the bigotry from people who are hiding behind the internet. Who's the pussy? Really? You're calling me a pussy?
My face.
There we go. We get removed for harassment and bullying. Goodbye. Kloorox is not a serious caller. He doesn't stand on business. He doesn't want people in his life to know that he says those things about George Floyd. His wife would leave him. His family would stop talking to him. He might lose his job. There are consequences for action for the things you say in this country. The First Amendment doesn't protect you from that. Cameras on if you say shit like that on my show. We're going to talk to Walter White. Maybe we're going to talk about chemistry or something. I don't know. How old are you?
26.
Okay. Are you a Trump supporter?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
I met this man in person in New York City. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. He is such a kind man, so tall, so handsome, smells like a bacon, egg, and cheese fresh out the factory early in the morning. And the things he's done for this country are just so amazing.
Okay.
Look at me and my boy right there.
Congratulations.
You guys say he's racist and he supports white supremacy? Look at that right there. Look at that with a black man right there. Shook my hand and everything. Told me I'm very educated. Yeah, you can't stand to see that. Look at this liberal sissy mad to see that.
Is that a wax figure of Trump?
That's the real Trump right there. That's me and him. I even got a video of it.
Somebody in the chat said that. I don't really care that you met him. I walked past him on the street once because I grew up in New York. That was before he was a politician. What does that have to do with fucking anything, dude? The guy you're aware that he was found civilly liable for not renting to black tenants when he was a landlord in New York in the 70s and 80s, right?
That's fake news, brother. That's fake news. He told me straight up he would rent to me any single time of the day.
That's bullshit, dude.
Because those blacks couldn't afford it. I could afford it.
Stop. I'm not interested in hearing your anecdotal bullshit. I'm not interested in this.
Man, stop being a liberal sissy. Stop being a liberal sissy.
No, I don't think that this is a meaningful conversation. You've got 20 seconds.
It is a meaningful conversation.
You've got 20 seconds to convince me this is going to be a meaningful conversation.
Well, why do you have a fuck ice flag in the back? You don't like ice on a hot summer day in your cup? Like, you don't like it? Like,
just not fucking doing it, dude. Like, I don't fucking care. Like, I'm like we're going through a thing on the show where I'm getting kind of jaded to the bullshit, like unserious callers. Like, that's why the fucking sign is this today, dude. It's because of people like you. Like, what the fuck is this? Too many people watch my show for me to spend my time with people like you. We're gonna talk to Logan, who's then got emojis that read 2141. Does that mean something? 21.41? I don't know. We'll see if Logan is serious.
These fucking skinny fucking liberal.
Anyway, we're gonna talk to Vegeta Weapon. I don't know. Proving the sign right early today. How we doing? How old are you?
We are Charlie Kirk.
We are Charlie Kirk. We carry the flame. We'll fight for the gospel. We'll carry honor his name. I don't even know the fucking song. Fucking get better at singing if you're gonna troll. What the fuck? Is that it? Is that all the calls we're getting today? Thank you, Midwest Progressive. I saw you sharing the live with everybody who's ever existed before. Appreciate that. Yep. I got shared in a troll Discord. Oh, cool. This will be fun. Oh, I should have hooked up the piano today. I don't think, yeah, it's not hooked up. We still have Jesse's mic from yesterday. Oh, cool. I'm about it. If today, dude, I picked the right sign. If I got shared in a troll Discord and it's gonna be me batting trolls all day, like, I don't care if we have to restart the live 60 times and there's only 100 people watching. I don't give a fuck. Let's fucking go for it. I put the right sign up. We're gonna talk to SANNGETAL Sengetal. Is it an I or an L? Gotta hover on the disconnect button. Thanks for letting me know, Chad, about that troll Discord. What a fucking cool place that that must be. Hello, how old are you?
Hello, I'm 37.
Are you a Trump supporter?
No. I'm just here for it because I'm I'm excited to see what's been going on down here. And then I just found out that like you just got apparently shared in a troll Discord. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think we're gonna strap in. We're gonna see how we deal with it.
Yeah, right. Just go on for the ride.
Hell yeah! All right, I'm gonna thank Yasmin who sent me $50 on Buy Me a Coffee. Yeah, I think for the international viewers, Buy Me a Coffee is the way. It works. Your cards will work on there. Because PayPal doxes some of the information that is on the account if you like even just have a public pay handle. So the email that's linked to my PayPal is one that I don't want like exposed to the public. So that's why I don't have a public facing PayPal. Probably will burn that account down and just let it be public soon enough, but not yet. But Buy Me a Coffee, good option if you're international. Seems to be working for lots of people because Yasmin says, happy to see this works internationally. Greetings from Switzerland. Love your debate style. Thanks for making this world a little better every day. And camera on for those cowards any day, hiding like the neo-Nazis marching the Capitol. Yeah, dude, it's that's the thing. Like, I think that's really what triggered me is I saw the neo-Nazis marching. Oh, I got a $5 YouTube super chat to read. Epic voice, brother, from Heavensley. Thank you. Yeah, did I get the right distance from the mic for the singing? Did it work? I'll have to listen to it in post. Maybe that scared away the chuds. I'm unimpressed with this troll Discord because the queue's empty. Like, seriously, guys. I thought we were in for it. I thought there'd be hundreds of you coming. I was excited for it. Like, who the fuck cares? You can't even keep my line busy. What kind of raid is this? Hilarious. All right. Oh, we got a user phone number. So I'm gonna hover the disconnect button. Let's see. I'm gonna say N-word for 500, Alex. Let's hear it. Hello. How old are you?
Let's go ice.
How old are you?
34.
Oh shit! No way! No fucking way! That's it. They got children. They got like two assholes and a teenager. That's the best this troll Discord has for me. Unbelievable. Is that the same user, or is that a different burner account? No, I'm gonna say goodbye to him, and we're gonna say hello to Ghost-ERZ. Yeah, we're hovering the disconnect button today. We got the trolls coming after us. Let's see if this person's going to participate in a meaningful way in the show. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Do you support Trump?
I did, but I just want to call and ask like what your main opinions are. I've kind of popped in a couple different times. Mm-hmm. So, you know.
And the big thing I always just say is that, like, regardless of the left versus right politics of it all, because I've got lots to say about that.
I would say I'm Republican. I wouldn't say exactly MAGA.
Right.
I feel like MAGA's more like Trump. Well, but I do have a lot of the same views.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Is that like we can disagree about tax brackets or abortion and stuff, and like I got some real strong opinions on that. I can get real heated about those topics, but never mind all that shit. The president's not following the Constitution. That comes first. That's the biggest thing. Never mind what exactly he's doing. Like that's important. I talk about all those issues every day. But he's not following the Constitution, and if you can't call that a red line in consideration of the fact that the president swears his oath to the Constitution when he takes office on Inauguration Day, we're not speaking the same language. We don't have the same definition of patriot. We don't care about the rules of like law and order in this country. So like that's just the big thing. The guy's working hard to not do what it says he has to do in the Constitution, and that should be a fucking emergency, even if you like some of his opinions about stuff.
Yeah. What are some of the like things that you would point out that he's not doing constitutional wise?
Well, he often uses the executive order to try to get around either rights that are granted to people in the Constitution. We saw that with Executive Order 14160, which tried to take away birthright citizenship from the children of undocumented immigrants. Just recently, it was like last week or something, Supreme Court finally shot it down because it takes a long time. But even though the Supreme Court did their work on it, I still think it's such an obvious attempt to get rid of an amendment right that I think that people would recognize it'd be bad for the president to say, you know what, that First Amendment right, let's get rid of that. And then a year later for the Supreme Court to say no. I think that's too extreme and obvious an attempt.
I will agree with you on that one. That one was, I wouldn't say I support Trump as much, but that one definitely was a surprise to me, I believe. I think it was like, oh, well, that's a bit crazy. I think it's the first time that I was like, yeah, that's pretty insane.
I like using that one as an example because it's so to the letter of the Supreme Court interpretation of the 14th Amendment wrong.
Yeah.
And then he does other things, like, for example, one of the components of checks and balances and the division of powers in the country is that the president, the executive branch, the federal government, doesn't decide how states run their elections. We keep that separated so that whoever's in charge of the federal government can't have too much control over the elections that determine how much power they have, like after the midterms, whether Trump's going to maintain control of Congress because he has so many Republican loyalists there. But Trump has made executive orders about election policy, about things like mail-in voting, which once again, the Supreme Court has to shoot these down. But because he has no actual authority to make these rules, he has threatened states with withholding funding if they don't obey his illegal executive orders, which is itself also illegal because it's not the president's job to determine their funding. That's Congress's job. So like there's a whole, there's a big laundry list of these sorts of things where if a president does one or two of these things in the course of their presidency, Biden did that with student loans, the Supreme Court says, nope, power of the purse belongs to Congress. You can't deal in money like this is the president. He said, okay, we'll try to find a different way to forgive student loans. I can forgive a president like a couple of those over the course of a presidency. It's hard to be president and not fuck up in that way at some point. Trump does it once or twice a week. That's an emergency. That is a president who is flailing, who is throwing a temper tantrum about the ways in which the Constitution restricts what he wants to do to the country.
Okay. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I did not think you were going to accept my thing as fast as you did. So I was unprepared.
That's okay. I was going to have time. I think I'm going to be dealing with a lot of trolls today, so this was kind of a nice one. But if you want to chew on that and call back in another time, I
definitely will. I definitely followed you. I will say that we disagree on a lot. I have been kind of just like, I don't want to say I've been like following you and like trying to figure out, but I have been following you and trying to listen to what, your opinions are just so I have a little bit of backing. But I would like to come back and go like live on my account or use my camera and whatnot. I did see some people in there being like, that's trash. I definitely am willing to do that.
Well, the camera thing, there's certain things like when somebody called in and said, fuck George Floyd, and I was like, all right, camera's on. If we're doing that, if we're going to go into that territory, camera's on.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't require it of everybody.
We have major difference in opinions. I would like to like try to come back at some point and debate when I'm actually have something to give you.
Yeah, absolutely. I got someone else in the queue, so I'm going to move on. But you're welcome back up.
For sure. I appreciate you. Being respectful. I'll keep watching, and hopefully we'll have a good debate sometime.
Yeah, appreciate you, Ghost. W's in the chat for Ghost for being good faith, because that he was a little unprepared, but that felt good faith. He was listening. David sent me $5 on Venmo to say it's good to see the troll Discord took 5 minutes from playing soggy biscuits with each other to come troll. Yeah, seems like it's over. I mean, we'll see who's next in the queue, but I'm unimpressed with this troll Discord. I thought I was going to have a much more exciting day. We're 17 minutes into the show, and I've not been convinced of that. Bring it on, trolls. Come on. Anyway, Caitlin sent me $5 to say, hey, Oscar, feel free to not read this out loud to prevent trolls from getting ideas. Let's see. Yeah. Yep, I'm aware of that problem. Thank you, Caitlin. Good looking out. W's in the chat for Caitlin looking out. I'm aware. I know the issues that we're going to run into. But doing that's a crime. So we'll see how that goes for them. Hello, Deezy. How old are you?
27.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, you'd say so.
I would say so.
I voted for Trump.
Okay, and you're happy with that decision? You don't regret it? That was the right choice for you?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that makes you a Trump supporter. Why the fuck did you do that?
I think he's better opposition over. I mean, he's just a better candidate over Kamala Harris. Let's be real.
Let's be real. Okay, let's be real. Let's talk about qualifications. What qualified Donald Trump? What qualified Donald Trump to be president more than Kamala Harris? Who had a more impressive record running?
The people in 2016 kind of showed that they wanted.
That wasn't my question.
Trump. What qualified them was your question. I said the people.
No. That's why he won the election. That's not what makes him qualified. You know that. Be real. Be real. Come on.
Business ventures.
Okay. How many bankruptcies has Trump had?
Okay, a lot. But a lot of successful people have bankruptcy. Bankruptcy doesn't mean unsuccessful. It means
I think that the most successful people don't have bankruptcies. Would you agree?
No, I mean, no. A lot of people do. Like 50 Cent's had a bunch too. Jay-Z's had a few. A bunch of the richest rappers had a bunch of bankrupt. Like a bunch of successful.
We are talking about politicians.
I know, but we're talking about businessmen first.
Who, you know what? Let's compare Trump to Biden when it comes to like presidential actions, because Kamala Harris was going to continue Biden's plan.
You said something about executive orders.
Who has a worse track record of causing American companies to go bankrupt as president? Biden or Trump?
I'm not sure. You're
not familiar with the bankruptcy figures about American manufacturers from last year, how badly they were affected by the tariffs? You're not aware of how many businesses have failed because of Trump's economic policies?
This is because of the tariffs. American manufacturers are failing because of tariffs, even though tariffs are meant to help American manufacturing.
But how exactly do the tariffs help American manufacturing? That doesn't make any sense to me.
They help protect domestic industry by putting up a barrier so we can't outsource.
Right, you can find local examples. Like occasionally there'll be a lumber manufacturer, a lumber distributor, where because Canadian lumber is being tariffed so much.
Well, that's the issue. It's on low levels right now. We want it on a national level. That's what we're trying to get to.
Sorry, what do you want on a national level? That's only on a low level?
Domestic industry. We want domestic manufactured products. We want to be making.
You didn't let me finish what I was saying about the lumber manufacturers, which is that you can find certain manufacturers
you can
like
find
lumber
it on a low scale.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you going to let me finish? I'm not having it today. I got a pile of trolls to get through. If you're not going to let me get a fucking sentence out that's longer than 10 seconds, then you're unqualified to have a conversation about economics. Are you going to let me finish my point?
That I was listening to you.
I don't think that you were listening to me. Why don't you tell everybody what I was saying?
Because you said it happened on a low scale. On a local scale.
I don't. You can find particular examples. I don't mean locally in terms of geography. I guess I used the wrong word. What I was saying is that you can find specific examples of certain businesses like steel manufacturers or lumber manufacturers, where because we've tariffed lumber and steel that come from over the border, those businesses do well because normally in the prior economy before the tariffs, they couldn't afford to sell their lumber at a rate that kept them afloat. That's why their businesses were failing. So yes, making lumber more expensive by tariffing it makes it so that they can charge a price that allows their business to run. Yay, the people who work at those business. Boo, everybody the fuck else in the country, especially people who are building things out of steel and lumber, because now they have to pay more for it into a company that wasn't going to succeed on the global market, that Trump is like, you can say he's rescuing it, but the net effect on the cost of goods and quality of life for people and the earning potential, the spending power of the everyday working man in America, that's all very bad. It's very short-sighted to look at those particular manufacturers that benefit.
Now listen, can I rebuttal that? You were right. The spending power has gone down. But this is the tariffs and the trying to get manufacturing in America is kind of an investment. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, and it's not something that's going to happen in a year or 4 years.
But the reason that manufacturers aren't investing in businesses that will succeed.
They are now.
No, they aren't, because it's not going to last. There's no guarantee that these sorts of tariffs are going to last into the next administration, especially because everybody expects the pendulum to swing back and for us to have a blue ticket for the next president. So why would you invest hundreds of millions of dollars in building manufacturing facilities locally to manufacture?
That's the issue. It's because it swings the four years,
which means, and because of that matter of fact about reality,
inherently just bad. Like these tariffs aren't just bad.
But as a matter of fact, the thing that Trump is allegedly trying to accomplish with these tariffs is not happening. So if he were a better politician, if he were doing
a better, it's not going to happen overnight, brother.
It's not going to happen at all, is what I'm saying.
I mean, it will if we stuck to it. Yes, it definitely could.
No, right. That's an if, but that is an if that nobody is going to bet hundreds of millions of dollars to build a manufacturing facility on. That is then going to become useless.
That's why the government has bet the money on that. That's why they've invested in the local chip manufacturers. That's why we're manufacturing chips in America.
Biden was doing that without tariffing.
Yeah,
he was subsidized. Yes, that's a good way to bolster local manufacturing. You're right. That's why Biden did it that way.
Biden also tariffed the fuck out of the chips.
Tariffs aren't necessarily a bad lever to pull.
They're not bad. They're good. That's what I'm saying.
You're not letting me get very many words out at a time here, man.
I'm hyping Biden up right now.
Just because a tariff sometime someplace was good does not mean that we should take every country on the planet and apply blanket tariffs without respect to how that'll affect the individual industries that are dependent on the things that we... That's blanket tariffing that has nothing to do with the
Blanket tariff
value.
would be 20% on everybody.
Blanket, yes, that's what he's doing. He's saying everybody
No,
in this
he's
country.
matching everybody. He's like, if
No,
Japan
you're
has
not
13
listening.
on us,
I don't
we're
use the
getting
mute
13
button.
on them.
No, you're moving past this point that you're not letting me explain. If I look at a country and say everything from this country is blanket tariffed at 20%, yes, he's not blanket tariffing the entire planet. He chose a different number for each country, but the number that he chose was completely irrespective of the effect that those tariffs would have on the economy locally and globally. He made it up based on the trade deficit, and the trade deficit has nothing to do with the value that tariffs would have to a country. Do you understand that? Do you know that?
It has a little value.
There are lots of countries. There are lots of countries that sell very specific. There are lots of countries that sell very specific resources that we don't have locally in America. Things like cobalt that goes into lithium batteries. Like there's certain things that we don't have, so we buy them from countries that have them, and a lot of those countries are poor, so they don't buy very much from us. So there's a trade deficit, but it's one that we obviously benefit from because then we get to build things like lithium batteries for our electric cars and smartphones. That's a good relationship. Tariffing the shit out of it because there's a trade deficit in that particular example makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
It does if they have those crazy tariffs on us. Why should they have a 50% tariff on us and we have a
You just
0?
made up an additional detail. Find me a country that sells us cobalt that has that sort of arrangement. Find me a country that sells us cobalt. You're making shit up to make it sound like you're right, and I'm not going to let you do it. Find me a country that sells.
I might be wrong here, bro.
You're making it up. Find me an example of a country that sells us cobalt that we had that sort of trade deficit and tariff relationship.
Cobalt. You're making up cobalt, bro.
I didn't make up cobalt. It's an example I used.
I use Japan as an example. Why should Japan have a 30% tariff on us and we only have a 13 on them?
I don't know the exact economics of what we buy and sell from Japan. I assume they do plenty.
I mean, a bunch of manga and anime, a bunch of content.
Well, they also they're a technology economy, so they export computers and stuff. They're inventive with technology.
Not hardware, really.
Yeah, right. Yeah, China's much bigger on hardware. Korea is much bigger on hardware. Taiwan is much bigger on hardware. Yes, I'm aware of the broad strokes here, but no, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I can make up a fucking number for what the tariffs on Japan should be that makes sense given all of that.
But we're making up numbers on cobalt, bro. We're talking about Lithuania over here.
I'm saying that making up numbers on cobalt is bad. That's my argument. That's what Trump did. He made up random numbers that hurt those industries.
I agree with that. I can agree with that. If he's just making up numbers.
I'm not making up numbers. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm saying Trump is.
Yes. He's making up numbers. The idea that you can affect fix the trade deficit by using the trade deficit as a math equation to come up with what the tariff should be. That is some numerology like 9/11, 9 + 1 + 1 = 11. Say it 9 times. That's 9/11. 9/11 was an inside job type of bullshit. Like that's fucking insane, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? It's not. These numbers don't relate to each other in that way. So when he puts the big chart in the Oval Office and says this is how we're calculating the tariffs, to people who don't understand what the effect of tariffs on the economy is, that looks like he's doing something reasonable, but it is just a catastrophic thing he did to the fucking stock market, probably for the purposes of inside trading.
I don't know if it was catastrophic to the stock market, bro.
I'm sorry. Have you seen this? Do we need to look at the S&P 500 on the day the Liberation Day tariffs were announced?
No, but look at them now.
It goes up over time. It's going up more slowly now than it did during Biden's term. Unbelievable.
I mean, over time, we're talking about Trump's tariffs and what they did to the S&P 500.
The S&P 500 always goes up. That's what it does. If we're going to look at the economic performance of a president, we have to look at how much it goes up, how quickly it goes up, and it's going up more slowly.
I don't think it's fair judging economies under presidents, but we can do that. I mean...
Okay, I'm sorry. Are you so thoroughly cooked in the argument that you just want me to let the heat off? You don't even want to talk about the economy anymore?
No, I don't think it's fair.
I don't think it's
fair. I have a political science degree, my boy. I just don't think it's fair.
You're a political science degree, and you don't understand the effect that tariffs have on an economy and what they have to do with the deficit.
That's what I'm saying. I do have an understanding.
I don't think you're demonstrating that at all. I hate Milk sent me. Excuse me. I hate Milk sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat to say my husband and I are half owners of a manufacturing, research and development company and education center in the Midwest. 28 employees. Trump is a complete disaster for us. Fuck Donald Trump. Thank you for your insight. I hate Milk. Sorry to hear that that's going so hard for you. Midwest Progressive is up. He's usually got something poignant to say when he gets in the queue.
Okay, so how's it fair to judge a president's
Hey, Oscar, how are you?
I'm sorry, I just introduced somebody. I think you were listening, and then you started talking, as they started talking. Exercise better manners, Deezy. Come on. You're on a show that a lot of people are watching. It's still not your time to talk. It's Midwest's time to talk.
Hey, Deezy, do you know where Trump got his tariff ideas from?
No.
You have no idea who his big guru tariffs were.
Is it American?
Yeah, his name's Peter Navarro. Does that name sound familiar? He's been around Trump all the time.
Kind of. I don't know who it is, so.
So he's the one that in Trump's first term came up with the idea of using tariffs, and then in the second term making it his big plan of what he was going to fix the economy with. So Peter Navarro wrote a book, and when you write a book, you need experts and you need people that verify what you say to make it actually way more legit than just, hey, Peter Navarro said something. So Ron Vara is the economics expert that he quoted in the book and came up with the tariff plan with. Ever heard of Ron Vara?
No,
that's because he's fictional. Peter Navarro, it's a anagram for his last name. He made up a completely fake economic expert to cite to look more legitimate. And that's who came up with the tariff policy. That's who you're standing up here and defending and saying that he knows what he's doing. Is a guy who created a fake expert.
Yeah, methodology's important.
Well, being a real person's important.
Well, what makes you real, like a degree
not just
or
citing
like
a
what?
fake person.
I'm not disagreeing that this person's fake, but what makes a person fake? Like, they don't have a degree, they're not actually an expert.
They don't exist.
Oh, okay.
There's no person. He made an anagram of his last name.
Is this an alias, though? Like, is this dude, owning, this is my work, this is my...
No.
Deezy, keep cooking this fool.
It's not your time to speak, copium distributor. You gotta wait.
Yeah, no, he was citing him as an expert.
Bro, you gotta be the biggest moron I've ever heard. Fucking spur guy.
You can get back in the queue if you want, but it's not your time to speak. You gotta follow the rules on my show.
There's your troll for the day, bro.
Yeah, I'm unimpressed with the trolls. You guys are not crushing it. This is hilarious. This is like a normal day for me.
But yeah, so and the reason that the reason that the Trump admin picked Peter Navarro in his first term is because Jared Kushner went on Amazon and found the book that he wrote, and he was tough on China. And without doing any other research into it, Trump said, "That's my economic guy. Let's build an entire economic theory around this guy."
Yeah, it don't seem like the best guy to do that around, bro.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't seem like the best guy to do that around.
Well, during this delicious pause, I am going to take a moment to thank a couple of donors, because Lucky Phil sent me $2 on Buy Me a Coffee to say, Trump's tariffs and international response to said tariffs have caused a lot of folks to not want to do business with the USA. Australian beef exports are through the roof because countries are choosing us. And excuse me, I am going to start over at the beginning because you interrupted me. Lucky Phil sent me $2 from Buy Me a Coffee to say, Trump's tariffs and international response to said tariffs have caused a lot of folks to not want to do business with the USA. Australian beef exports are through the roof because countries are choosing us instead. Definition of cutting off your nose to spite your face. Absolutely, Lucky Phil. And then Chronos sent $10 on YouTube Super Chat to say, I look away for 1 second and miss the homophobes in the chat. Darn. Thanks, Joey Xkill, for dealing with that. W in the chat for the donors, but especially for the mods today, because we got a troll raid going on, and I know they are doing a little bit more
so
work
we're getting
than usual.
Cheaper beef.
Excuse me, I am not done reading my donations. Quiet down.
Oh my bad, bro. I thought you were done.
I'm sorry. Do you want to be kicked off the panel, or do you want to stay up here and keep getting cooked?
My bad, bro.
It is your bad. Now shut up. Anyway, we're going to thank, who else sent me money? Nicholas sent me $5 on Venmo to say, happy early birthday. Read this part to yourself. Okay, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yes. I do need to, I do have a gig coming up. I will talk about that. I'll message you, Nicholas. And then David sent me $5 on Venmo to say, Trump knows about as much math as he knows. Wait, is it cut off? It's cutting it off. Dead air. Venmo. Trump knows as much about math as he knows about consent. His tariffs were random and incoherent. I agree. Now you may speak, Deezy.
So are we mad that we're getting beef cheaper and undercutting Australian beef?
I'm sorry. Did anybody say that the beef is cheaper?
Is that what it said? Like, why are we mad about Australian beef?
Because people are buying it from them instead of from us, because Trump is fucking up our reputation in the international market.
I thought they were saying we were getting it cheaper.
No. It means people aren't buying our beef as much. And beef is not cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Australia is a big beef exporter, so that's not too big of an issue. I think, yeah. I don't think
we are at like
you don't reckon that's a problem? Congratulations.
No, I don't think Australia is really threatening the beef market. I don't think they're big at beef exports. I could be wrong.
You just think so? Surely. Do you know anything about the beef market? I'm not sitting here pretending to know very much about the beef market.
Yeah, I know Venezuela kind of fucked our beef market up, and that's partly why we went over there.
He just reckons that it's okay.
What?
Wait, hold on.
What I reckon okay?
Lucky Phil might know a thing or two about the beef market. He's the one who sent in that donation. We'll let him defend himself on it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know a lot about the beef market because I don't. How old are you, Lucky
Venezuela
Phil?
Undercut our
Excuse me, Deezy. You're doing it. Deezy, shut up. You're doing it again. I introduced a new person and you started talking over them. Manners, buddy. Pretend we're in a room. Everybody on this call is a fucking human being. Act like it.
I know. I'm just adding some input.
Shut up. Lucky Phil, how old are you?
I'm 44. Deezy, imagine there's a talking stick. Right now, you don't have the stick. I have the stick, so hush.
Are you Australian, bro?
Yes, I am.
Hell yeah.
All right. I won't stay up here long. I'm a friendly. I've also got a fucking migraine. But beef is a huge export for Australia. It's one of our biggest industries, along with various minerals and the mining industry and what have you. But yeah, beef is a huge export, large part of our economy. We export a lot of beef to various places in Asia and all over the place. And at the moment, a lot of countries are choosing to deal with us because they don't want to deal with you. It's as simple as that. It's a huge part of our industry.
Okay. So how much beef do they export compared to the U.S.? Like, is it significant?
I don't have the numbers, but what I do know, because I'm not on a computer, what I do know is that we have massive farms all over the northern parts of Australia. We have huge rural areas, chock-a-block full of cattle. And that is not for the domestic market. We do eat a lot of beef here, but remember, we're a country of around 20 million people.
Yeah,
we make a lot more cattle. We have a lot more beef than what we can consume.
Yeah, bro. Shout out Australia, though. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. All I'm coming up to say is you saying, well, I don't think Australia's got much of an industry. They're not much of a threat. Yeah, you don't have a clue. That's all. Okay. Thanks.
Appreciate you, Lucky Phil, and thanks for all the donations. You've been supporting for a long time.
And I don't know how to drop myself down, so please do the honors.
I will kick you for the algorithm. It helps the algorithm a little bit if I kick the guest instead of them leaving. It shows I'm in control. Thanks, Lucky Phil. W's in the chat for Lucky Phil. He's sending those buy me a coffees for like every day for like weeks now. It's incredible. Deezy, what does ChatGPT have to say about it?
I'm not using ChatGPT. I can look it up right quick.
Oh,
hold on. Give me 30 seconds. I'll look up.
So when you were teacupped a second ago, you definitely weren't checking with ChatGPT. You were definitely actually looking it up, and that's why you need to look it up again now, right? He's teacupped.
No, I was just double checking what bro said was right, and he was right.
Okay. Benefit of the doubt, everyone.
Right now.
Benefit. Do they matter, dude? Like, do you give a shit? Like, we had this whole conversation about tariffs generally, and now we're down. You're kind of doing a little. There's a little bit of a slow burn on what's going on here. I'm still talking. There's a little bit going on here. There's like a slow burn on this thing called sea lioning, which is where no matter where we get in the conversation, you can always ask additional questions. You can always ask, well, how much beef was it in 2019? You can ask like, oh, is it the same quality beef as the United States? Now, I'm saying that there's a slow version of that happening, where you haven't acknowledged or conceded any of the ways in which I've demonstrated that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Conceded.
Instead of doing that, you just keep moving on to some more specific thing.
I just wanted to double check.
Here we are down the rabbit hole talking about the amount of beef produced by Australia instead of the fact that the president is willy-nilly assigning tariffs to things based on numbers that have nothing to do with what the tariffs should be. So, I
think the numbers are just matching. I think like if they're doing 13%, he's doing 13%. If you're doing 30%, he's doing 30%.
Now we're back to the beginning and we already covered all of that. I feel like I got you pretty thoroughly thoroughly cooked on it, but now you have amnesia to that whole part of the conversation.
You said he's just randomly making up numbers. Those numbers aren't randomly picked. Like he's just equally doing it.
He didn't do it randomly. He came up with a metric that seemed pretty randomly selected to use as the metric for selecting them, which is to take the deficit and use that to calculate what the tariffs should be.
So
and those numbers are related. Yeah, the methodology was a random one that an economist would not say is reasonable for selecting what tariffs should be in order to bolster the economy for fucking anyone. And that was the main point that we were on when Lucky Phil brought into the conversation his particular detail about Australian beef through his donation, which you dragged.
No, bro, I wasn't trying to seed line about the beef. I was trying to make sure. I never heard of Australia exporting beef. Like, I don't think you have either. So I didn't know that was a major thing. I was making sure that they exported a good amount of numbers, which they do. They export 1.5 million compared to us. We export 1.3 million, like metric.
Here you are, back to the beef instead of addressing the thing I'm directly accusing you of.
No, I'm giving you credit. I'm saying you were right, bro.
Okay.
I'm saying you were right, brother.
Okay. About what?
About the beef, whatever.
I don't give a shit about the beef. I give a shit about whether or not you think I'm right about the tariffs generally.
What in general? What's your sentiment about tariffs? That they're going to be away in 4 years?
You got to have a better memory than that to be on my show. I feel like I need to move on.
My memory. You said they would be decent if they were stayed in place for 10 years. You didn't say that.
I didn't say that. No. That's not what I said. I said
that wouldn't happen.
That's not what I said. I didn't say it would be good. You made that up. No, you misinterpreted what I said. What I said is that the only thing that would incentivize local companies to invest tens, hundreds of millions, perhaps billions of dollars in local manufacturing infrastructure is if they knew that the tariffs were going to be in place for so long that it would make financial sense for them to do that. Why would you spend $100 million building a factory when in 2 fucking years, which is around when your factory is going to be done getting built, the tariffs are going to be lifted by the next president and you're not going to need that factory anymore? It's a stupid business decision to do, which is why the tariffs are hurting American manufacturers. That's what I said. I never suggested that if they had to build those local manufacturing facilities because the tariffs were going to be in place for 10 years, that would necessarily be a good thing. I just said that in the case where that were to happen, the local manufacturers would be sensible to build their manufacturing facilities here, to do that risky investment. I'm just saying that it doesn't make sense for them to do that either, which is bad.
Yeah, bro, that's what I was saying.
No, it isn't.
I mean, I was saying you said it was good. You didn't say that necessarily, but I think you agree it would be good if we had tariffs in place over a long period of time that actually built domestic industry. So we don't need domestic industry in the United States.
No, there are specific domains where the economists can study all of the complicated figures and relationships and go, you know what, if we increase the tariffs on this good, it'll give local manufacturers a little push to make more of these local manufacturing facilities, and that'll be good for the economy in this way that we can measure because the economists study this stuff. That's reasonable. There are domains where that makes sense to do. That's why we have tariffs in the first place. It's one of the mechanisms of control. So that's great. But the idea that everything should be tariffed to settle some deficit score with a particular country, that's fucking nonsense, is my argument.
Okay, bro,
that's
I agree
ridiculous.
with you 100%. Okay,
He's performing brain surgery with a shovel.
All right. So I agree with you 100%. I give you that. Will you give me this? It also was unfair how other countries were tariffing the crap out of us.
That doesn't. I don't have good examples of that. I'm sure there are some tariffs that I could look at and say that I wasn't a fan of. There's 200 countries on the planet. I'm sure some of them have some tariffs with us. Does that make it reasonable for Trump to do any of the things that he's done to the economy?
I mean, how bad has he done the economy?
Well, we had record numbers of American manufacturers bankrupting themselves because of these policies last year. That's one metric that I've already brought up during this very call.
Do you know what bankruptcy is?
Inflation is going up because of all of this shit. The war in Iran hasn't helped with that. That's been bad for the economy. The jobs reports are bad. The S&P 500 is underperforming what we expected to increase year over year, not just generally, but also in comparison to the Biden administration, which is a little unfair because it started off in a pretty rough situation.
Yeah, that's why I don't think it's fair to compare economies, bro. Like, are we going to sit here and say,
So you he rescued the economy from COVID, dude. We could get into that.
Yeah,
but here I am listing ways. You wanted examples, so I started listing examples, and then after my list, you said, "Oh, I don't know if we can really compare the economy."
I'm not disputing.
How is it that every time how is it right?
I'm not trying to argue about what you said.
What is it that you're trying to argue? I don't get it.
Nothing. I was just trying to throw that in there. I don't think it's fair to judge a president's economy because they inherited.
Then why are we talking about Trump's economic performance?
We're talking about tariffs.
Why are you on my show if you don't care about the economic performance of the president? We're arguing about Trump's tariffs. This is insane.
I don't think you can judge it now.
Every time I get you to a conclusion, you just pop up with some other thing. I bet in 30 seconds we're going to be talking about Australian beef again. This is ridiculous.
No, bro. If you just freaking listen, I'm just saying, I don't think I could judge.
Kick or keep, chat. I'm going to read some donations while the poll comes in. Lucky Phil said tariffs are based on vibes and whatever he wants to manipulate for his investment portfolio. Yeah, definitely Lucky Phil. Definitely some insider trading happening. Him, going all taco.
How did Pelosi get rack up 20 million while she was in? And what about Schumer? I mean, these people are also millionaires.
Oh, 20 million? You don't like the idea of a Wait, hold on. I want to ask a question before I kick you because the chat wants you gone. Do you think it's a problem that Nancy Pelosi's net worth went up by $20 million? If that's what you're suggesting, do you think that's...
Hell yeah, it's also a problem Trump's went up, brother.
How much has his gone up?
I don't know how much Trump's went up.
Is it a number measured in millions or billions?
I'd imagine millions because billions isn't. I mean, we're talking about like Elon Musk.
Billions.
Hey, Deezy, how many
Trump
members
has a billion?
Deezy, how many members of Congress are there in total, both Senate and the House?
Senate and House is 450 around
535.
535.
Donald Trump has traded more in stocks by the actual amount of money traded than all of those 535 people combined in this term. He traded more than all of Congress together in this term.
Stocks or crypto or both?
Stocks.
And that's not even including the crypto.
Right.
Yeah.
About a trade every 7 minutes on average.
Wait, how much trade does he have?
One trade about every 7 minutes.
In the day?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, that doesn't mean a trade's made every 7 minutes. That means probably 100 trades are made at 2:45 in the afternoon every day, something like that. But I am going to kick you because that's what the chat wanted. So goodbye. But he's upset about fucking Pelosi's insider trading, which insider trading's bad. How you doing, Midwest?
I'm good.
I'm having kind of a fun day. I'm kind of unimpressed with the trolls.
Yeah, it came on early and then they just kind of disappeared now. They're not the fun trolls. They're the low information. I'm going to come up and get kicked right away troll.
Well, and I do think that I've shaped a way to handle trolls that's pretty disarming of them. I think that a lot of the stuff that works on other hosts doesn't work on me, which is why they don't the troll campaigns just never last all that long on my show. They get bored quickly.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hopping up. I always appreciate your wisdom. It's a lot greater than mine in a lot of subjects.
No problem. You can kick me for the algo.
Goodbye. Deezy's back in the queue. But I'm going to say hi to my buddy Derek, because maybe we should have a little friendly day to show the trolls that it's much better if you're nice to people and you have community. I don't know if Dr. Dankenstein meant to be in the queue. How you doing, Derek?
Oh.
You're on the show.
Yo, what's up?
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm actually at work right now, but that guy was cracking me up. How did he not know that cattle is Australia's biggest export? It's always been their thing. All they have is land.
I don't know how he thought it was important to the conversation. Cordova Labs sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat to add that U.S. beef herd is the lowest in 75 years and 1 pound of hamburger is more expensive than the minimum wage. Caller, tell me again how Trump is winning. That was really all it was. I kept on being so why do you support Trump? Why is Trump winning? How is Trump good for the economy? And just nothing from that guy. But good to say hi, Derek. I'll let you go to see if we can get some callers back. Unless you got something you want to say. Go ahead. Yeah.
I just want to say one other thing. You've heard of Barron, John Barron before, right? Because the Peter Navarro thing reminded me of Trump used to be his own publicist. He made up a guy named John Barron, and there's recordings of phone calls he'd make to journalists. Yeah, and it's so clearly him. He's got the most distinctive voice of all time.
Yeah,
it's really funny.
Well, there's rumors that he's still doing it because somebody called into Fox News doing a similar shtick, and people think this was 6 months or a year ago or something, and the internet had a weekend news story of guys, Did Trump just call into Fox News pretending to be a civilian glazing himself, or whatever the fuck they were talking about? Yeah, it's pretty fucking hilarious. He's a fucking clown. John Barron on MSNBC. The chat's aware of the scandal too. Thanks for bringing that back to my attention.
No problem, man. This is keep on fighting the good fight, brother.
Before I kick him, everybody follow Dr. Dankenstein. He does silly stuff on the internet that you should watch.
Yeah, I'm doing silly things. Yeah.
Yeah, go. See, we were talking about trolls all day. You're a friendly troll. You're an ally troll.
Yeah.
You and I have done great trolling in service of the mission statement of the Oskar Quentin show. So
I love you, bud.
Love you too, Derek. I'll see you soon. IRL buddy of mine. Actually, we kind of were IRL acquaintances, and then we both got pretty busy on social media, but we frequent some of the same spaces here in Minneapolis, so we became better friends after we started making content. But we've been lamenting the fact that if we joined forces a little bit earlier, if we had Dr. Dankenstein's trolling capabilities on board when I was running around chasing ICE agents in January and February, yeah, that'd be fun. Deezy's back in the queue. He's the only person in the queue that isn't a friendly. Let me know, chat. IRL is in real life, for those who don't know. He's like a in-person person that I know. And that is the Wizard. For people who have seen the Wizard appear randomly on my show to spread wisdom from the realm of wizards and stuff, that is what is his name? Dereces? The Wise? The Wizard? I don't know. Let's see, where are we? We're not even an hour into the show, and we're out of callers. We got some friendlies in the chat. But I really feel like I should keep the lines open for the trolls. I want to see their attempts. They're not doing a great job. So I'm just gonna sit here and pet my dog. It's absolutely remarkable to me, these people who come in and say, like, I have a political science degree, or I have like this, or whatever argument from authority they're going to make. Because I could sit here and make the same argument authority. I could talk about the fact that I tutored economics in school when I was in college, or whatever, like I'm good at math, or whatever fucking thing it is. But like, they just never have the fucking chops to explain any of this shit. Like, that guy seemed to know what Trump did with tariffs, but he didn't. I'm just so unimpressed by the fact that he wasn't super aware of the fact that it's a silly way to set tariffs. Like, why would it make sense? Anyway, Deezy's saying, what do I need to explain? I didn't even make a point, really, bro. That's kind of the point. Like, what was the call? We're going to talk to MAGA World 66. Hopefully he's not going to tell me about some execute order 66 plans that the MAGA World has. I certainly hope not. How old are you? Ugh. That's all they got? The fucking Charlie Kirk meme is still going around? I already voice mogged somebody by singing it at the beginning of the show. I don't feel like doing it again. I don't like to reuse my shtick that frequently, and that separates me from the trolls. We bring the boom, that's what we do. We bring the boom. Why are you spamming my chat? You're gonna get banned for that. It said Jeffrey. Yeah, it was going to be some Jeffrey Epstein version of the song. That's even more fucked up. We are Jeffrey Epstein. We know it's all the same. Thank you, Northern Cobra, for becoming a member over on YouTube. That means you get in the members only chat. Suppose I can do the ad read. If you were enjoying the show, if you're enjoying my ability to sit here and yap and fill air between the unserious MAGA callers who don't understand the economy and the trolls who are trying to deplatform me, you can listen to me all hours of the day by going to the link tree in my bio and following me on YouTube if that's not where you're watching right now, because most of you right now are watching this on TikTok. You can follow me on all the platforms. Instagram is my main social media. That's where you can actually keep up to the day-to-day, and it's the best place to message me if you want to bother me about stuff. If you really want to bother me and the team about stuff, well, don't bother us, because we don't allow bothering on the Discord, but you can apply for the Discord. There's a link tree in the bio. But we're getting a troll raid, so probably going to be watching it on the entries in there for a little while. But if you want to support the show materially, you can send money to my Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon, so I can pay people like Raven, who's doing timestamps right now, or Jesse, who sometimes sit over there. Not today, but a few days a week now, I have a live producer who helps me run the show in person, and in my opinion, as host, those are better episodes. So having staff is fucking expensive, but I got big plans for the Oskar Quentin show. So if you want to sponsor it, you can send me money on those places, like Joe Cooper chose to. He chose to send me $5 on Venmo to say, I did the math the other day. Nancy Pelosi's 85 years net worth is 7% of the money Donald Trump personally gained this last year alone. Yeah, I cannot believe that guy brought up the talking point about Nancy Pelosi making some money, which is bad, which he did. I don't support her trading history as a politician. But thank you for the hat and mustache. But David sent $25 on Venmo to say $25 to ban Deezy from ever saying the word beef on the Oskar Quentin show. Deezy, you're not banned, but the word beef is banned from your account. I don't want to hear about beef from you ever again. Let me just check a couple more places to make sure I don't miss any donations, as I so often do. Trump's tariffs and the international response to said tariffs have caused a lot of folks to not want to do business. Oh, wait, that was the one I read earlier. Whoopsie daisy. Thought Lucky Phil sent another one. Uh-oh, not doing my job well, especially with somebody in the queue. I got to get through the donation so I can get to whoever's in the queue. Go to the link tree in the bio and support the show. I really appreciate it. This is my full-time job. It's very exciting for me. We're going to talk to Washivak, WASHIVOYX7C. Here we go. We're going to talk to this person, and I'm going to hover the disconnect button in case they are a troll. Hello. How old are you?
Niggers made me vote.
No, some more trolls. So, like, that's it? Like, that's all they got? It's just, like, call and join, slurs and music? It's, I don't know. Like, whatever. I'm not impressed. Scout, are you impressed? Scout's not impressed. That's what she wants me to give her attention instead of the show attention. Don't chew on the wires, though, Scout. The people need to hear me through those wires. Can't fix stupid. I don't know. Sometimes you can. Sometimes you can. Is Deezy still just like causing a ruckus in the chat? I kind of just saying Harris would be balls deep in a war. That's ridiculous. See, like, I wanted to even talk about that stuff, but we just didn't talk about anything with Deezy. Like, we just had this long conversation about the economy in which he claims that he didn't even make a point, which just like, why are you? Yeah, the mods are close to muting him for being. Scout, what are you doing? What is going on? I don't know. The internet likes cats. This can be the Scout episode. Oh, Noodle's getting jealous. My dog's getting jealous of my cat. We're gonna talk to Bug Life 246. Scout, are you gonna let me use the mouse, Scout? Yeah, okay. Gotta hover that disconnect button. Here we go. How old are you? Oh, he hasn't connected yet. How old are you? There we go. If they do the Epstein ones, they are just outing themselves. Kronos just sent that for $5 on YouTube Super Chat. Kronos knows the future. Generally speaking, sent $2 on YouTube Super Chat to say, we just wanted to wish happy birthday to Kronos again. W's in the chat for both Jen and Kronos, and happy birthday to Kronos. That's all they got? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's a way, like, there's better ways to troll a show than just fucking playing shit. Joseph sent me $5 on Cash App to say, that guy was silly. Love the show as always. Thank you very much, Joseph. W's in the chat for Joseph. Do we have more callers? We do not. Now, I will say, this is sounding a lot like Dean streams. There's like a degree to which when the show gets higher energy, gets more like highfalutin like that, like it just does have to be like mega fast paced. So I consider it a badge of honor that the trolls consider me worth their attention. But it does kind of change the flavor of the show a little bit. But they'll get bored. It's not always going to be like this. Deezy is still just flailing in the request queue. You want me to play a song? Oh, I didn't. It was like I like almost stripped the whole setup yesterday to rewire it and better set up to do music in here, because I have like 4 guitars sitting right there and some behind me and the piano and stuff, and I'm gonna be doing music on the show very, very soon, I promise. But I gotta tease the audience a little bit more for it. Oskar Quentin music at the end of the show soon. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna talk to Black Hole 99. Is it a troll or a Trump supporter? Is there a difference? All right. Nope. Oh, man. How's everybody doing? I'm just going to talk to the chat. Wolf's got a couple of Ibanez and Yamaha acoustics. I need a better acoustic guitar. That's like the only expensive thing that I want. Because, I'm making some money running the show. And I do gig. I do perform music in public, and I have a good I gig with this guitar a lot. This Gretsch, which is great. Very out of tune. But And it's great as like a versatile guitar because it's an electric guitar. It's an electric guitar that's capable of sounding acoustic, so it's good for when I do like house band gigs and stuff, just playing all sorts of random stuff, because you can play like heavy distorted music on it or like bluegrass, and it kind of does a good job for both. But my acoustic guitar, like, which is, it's in the bed, it's off screen. It's a piece of shit that I bought for $80 and spent like a weekend refurbishing, even though it didn't really deserve it. Just did that when I was broke because I needed an acoustic guitar. So that's like the one thing. When you guys send donations, the only thing that is just like a thing that I want for myself, I can say it's a business expense as a gigging musician, but I don't really make Oskar Quentin show money with my music, so it feels like a personal expense to spend $1,000 or so on an acoustic guitar. But I probably will do that soon-ish. Yeah, love the Filtertrons, Johnny. Yeah, the pickups in the Gretches are nice. I find that they have like a slightly scooped mid, so I have to do like EQ on them when I play. I have a pedal board where I always have a default EQ profile to make my Gretches sound right, because I do actually have two Gretches. I have a baritone Gretch as well. Love the baritone Gretch. Oh no, the trolls have ruined the show. Oskar gets to talk about music with people who appreciate his work. Oh, what a terrible day it is. Still just Deezy, man. What the hell? The two Oscars. Oh, here we go. That's what I saw. Lucky Phil sending his $2 to say, sick of hearing the Charlie Kirk theme. Hey Google, play Ocean Man by Ween. Let's see. What is the story on Plattner? I haven't, oh, that's right, yeah. He's dropping out, right? That's the news? Do we have a friendly who knows? I'm not educated enough on the Plattner story to speak about it. I'm just looking, and there's so much that's come out in the last 24 hours. I'd have to sit here and read the news. I missed it this morning. Yeah, let me know in the chat if there's a friendly who wants to come up and educate us about that, because I don't mind spending, you know, if this show gets burned for the trolls, that's fine. It's gonna be another troll episode. Maybe we can just do some friendly conversation. Does Oskar like Jesse Wells? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I do like Jesse Wells. It's just like when we look at the folk tradition, he's a guy who gets it, right? Like I have my original music, and people say that like what I do is kind of punk folk, like it's a little more high energy, you know, it's like if Johnny Cash was the lead singer of the Mountain Goats, like that type of vibe often. And like Wells does like such a more like true to the like latter half of the 20th century tradition in folk music. Like he does. Yeah, I mean, to list the people to whom he pays homage through his music, it's just like every folk hero from the 50s to the 70s. You can just hear a little bit of everybody in his voice. And people listen to my stuff and they know I like Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan and stuff. But to quell the Gretsch fans, here's the other one. Baritone Gretsch, so I tune it 5/2 steps deeper than a standard guitar, so she a long boy. And I see this at metal shows all the time, this exact model, but I play country music on it because I'm a savage. We're going to talk to Mile High Heathen. Is that a friendly? I do not know. We do have the Proletariat as a friendly. Is he going to tell me about Plattner? We'll see after we talk to Mile High Heathen. Hello, how old are you?
Hey, Oskar, I'm 42.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Absolutely not. You were looking for some info on the new Graham Plattner news?
Yeah. Give me the skinny.
Yeah, so it just came out recently that a woman he dated a few years ago, I think it was like 5 years ago, is accusing him of essaying her during the relationship.
Okay, that's bad.
Yeah. So obviously a lot of Democrats are calling for him to pull out of the race, and he's currently, his only statement is he's denied it. And but he is seriously considering his future in the race.
Yeah, forgive my mental blind spot. He's running for Senate, right? Where?
Yeah, up in Maine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, this I alluded to. I don't know why my brain couldn't place the name. I was like getting mixed up about it. I think I was mixing him up with somebody else. But I know that when I say that, like, you know, blue no matter who, because if we're going to look at candidates that are going to protect democracy or whatever, it's just usually a blue candidate right now in 2026 for these midterms that are coming up, and that you have to really fuck up as a Democrat to lose my support.
Yeah.
sounds like we have our example, because there is the pragmatic conflict of like, that's a Senate seat though. But no, we can't be fucking hypocrites. We can't vote for people like that.
Exactly. Yeah, I 100% agree. And like, I guess she also has, like, it's not just a blind allegation. Apparently she has receipts. So it sounds like a pretty credible allegation.
Yeah, I'd been hearing details for a while, and the leader of the Maine Democratic Party has urged Graham Plattner to drop out of the Senate race today after Plattner was accused of sexually assaulting Susan Collins. He denied the allegations, says they are categorically false, but he is taking the time to reflect on the best path forward for the state that I love, the people that I love, the movement I belong to, and the goal of defeating Susan Collins. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we got to hold offenders accountable. If she's got the receipts, if these are credible accusations, then yeah, we got to dump the guy, right? I think that's pretty straightforward. I'm willing to lose a Senate seat on that, which is a fucking shame, because I'm really interested in. I'm very interested in what the Senate is going to look like after November. Like I think it's pretty clear we're going to, you know, like the betting markets and the pollsters are saying it's kind of a toss up who's going to win the House. I just think that there's more momentum than the pollsters are seeing. Same thing that we saw in 2020. So if I were a betting man, which we're all betting our life on it, but like, you know, if I were to, if I were to be forced to wager $100 on who's going to win the House, I think I'd say it's the Democrats. And I think that's probably also true of the Senate. But what really matters is getting closer to some of these majorities that are needed for certain things. Because in combination with blue Senate seats being won, we only need, we're not going to win enough seats to get a lot done in terms of the super majorities that are needed for some of the stuff that I want to do. But we could have a handful of Republicans dissent. That is a thing that has now happened twice, both with Trump's war powers and the Epstein files. There's precedent for the fact that he's doing things that are so unpopular that politicians are willing to do the thing that I accidentally got banned for saying they might do, which is commit political self-unaliving, TikTok gods, by going against Trump. So I really, really care about what the Senate makeup is going to be next year. So I fucking hate to say that we got to take an L because of this guy's crimes, but I do think that's reasonable.
Yeah, and I don't think you'll find too many people who disagree with you on that. I think right now, everything that I've been reading, the Senate races that are happening, the Senate is kind of like up in the air, especially with this news about Plattner, since he was so, leading in the polls. There's not really a known viable candidate at the moment that could replace him on the ticket that has a good shot in Maine. So it's kind of up in the air, but I think that the odds right now are still heavily in favor of the Democrats to win back the House. And if you haven't looked it up, I just have a candidate I think you'd find very entertaining. Victor Marks, the Republican House candidate for District 1 in Colorado. You should watch the Republican debate that was hosted by our local news station and listen to the absolute insanity that comes out of that man's mouth. And
was this about a month ago?
Yeah.
All right, I got a tab open. I'll be sure to check it out during some of the downtime.
It's hysterical and terrifying at the same time.
As we approach the midterms, I am doing the work of just trying to get better educated about all these random little races. I spend time digging through Wikipedia articles of random candidates and stuff to try to figure this out. Because especially with me getting a little bit more of a grip on being able to talk with some politicians. We don't have a date picked, but I'm going to do an interview with Doug Chapin, who's running for a Senate seat here, or not a Senate seat, which is it? No, yeah, he's a congressional district. He's running for a representative for Minnesota in the House. So that's a seat that I'm interested in having a conversation with the person who might hold it if he wins, which he's probably not going to. But the more I get a chance to actually get involved with on the ground discussions about what's happening in November, the more I need to be educated about the playing field, and it is just enormous. It's hundreds of people who I need to learn the general background of. So it's one of the things I've been spending my time on.
Yeah. You should also look into the District 1 Democratic nominee. She is a young DSA candidate, Milat Kirdos, I believe it's how it's pronounced. I'm not entirely confident in the pronunciation. But she's the one who beat out the 30-year incumbent in District 1 in Colorado.
Got that saved. Well, I appreciate your time. Unless you've got something else, I'll let you go and see if we can get another debate in today.
Have a great day, Austin.
W's in the chat for Mile High Heathen for reminding me. I don't know. I had a brain fart today. I think I was totally mixing them up with somebody else. I'm going to say hi to IowaGolfer. I had somebody else in the chat who I was going to say can be next, but they left the moment I said that. How you doing, IowaGolfer? You're 27.
Hi, Oscar.
Dude, I was so mad on your behalf watching you on that panel of vegans.
I don't understand. Like I said, they're almost intolerable.
We did the whole like episode on vegetarianism where I was open about my own personal conflict in it, and like I got to some lines of reasoning about it that I was going to be. I almost wanted to request and get on there because the thing that they basically kicked you on is that they said that the pain and suffering of a pig is the same as like a person, so it should be murder to kill a pig. And I'm like, I can get behind that like ethically. I don't like it when people say things that aren't technically true with legal terminology. It's why I don't use the phrase "no one's illegal on stolen land," because as much as I appreciate the sentiment, I would agree that nobody should be illegal on stolen land. They are though. Like the law is pretty clear. Like it's like we can be upset about it, but like it's the wrong. Don't feed the right technically false slogans for them to laugh at. Like it's not effective. So saying that it's murder to kill a pig is just legally wrong. Should it be treated the same way as murder? There's an argument there, but what I wanted to ask them, and sorry for steamrolling the call that you just started. I just want to give some background to the people watching about the last time you and I crossed paths. I pointed out in the chat that if it's the same, then do we, in addition to freeing them, do we need to give them voting rights? Because they were using African Americans being freed from slavery as the example of it, how it's the same. And I was like, well, if it's the same, then they need voting rights. And they said that's nonsense. And then it's like, well, okay, then it's not the same. And we need to have a more nuanced conversation about why maybe it's bad to kill animals. And what I wanted to know is it the same for a mouse? Is it the same for a housefly? Like, where do you draw the line? Because if you draw the line somewhere, you must recognize that there is a decreasing degree to which the experiences of animals matter as the animals become smaller and less capable of complicated thought and experiences. And importantly to me, as my viewers know, suffering. I don't think houseflies suffer, which is why I don't think it's evil to kill them if they're in your house. Anyway, just wanted to give background to some people about that. How you doing?
Yeah. No, I'm not too bad, man. Not too bad. I'm excited. I got taking Friday off. I'm going down to Iowa City to see Dan Tyminski. You're a music man. I'm assuming you know who Dan Tyminski is.
I don't. Another tab for me to open for today.
Oh, dude, he's probably one of the biggest bluegrass singers in the country.
Oh yeah. I recognize his face right away. I've definitely, I've definitely seen clips going around because he's touring. What are his songs?
Yep.
Man,
you know,
maybe you and I will pitch a show someday together. Yeah.
He wrote Man of Constant Sorrow and sang it. It wasn't George Clooney singing. It was him singing.
Okay, yeah, then I know his voice well. He's great, yeah.
You know Avicii, Hey Brother?
Yes.
That's Dan Tyminski singing. He wrote that song.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. I'd be excited for that show. Yeah.
He's in Iowa City, but this is like the closest he's ever gotten. Because I was going to see if he was up in Minneapolis, actually, because if he was, I was going to DM you and be like, we should definitely go see this show together. But
if it's in the works, I'll go to a show with you for sure. Yeah, we'll find something.
He's going like right to California for some reason. I don't really understand why.
Yeah, I mean, for everyone watching who maybe doesn't know, IowaGolfer, who I'm talking to, you're not a staunch Trump supporter. You don't identify as MAGA.
Yeah.
But I do consider you opposition for the nature of my show. You're like the best. Go ahead.
I've kind of changed myself. I'm gonna call myself a conservative Democrat, if that helps.
I like that for you.
I'm a conservative Democrat.
For having talked to you for 12 hours or so total, something like that. I think it's some 2-digit number of hours that you and I have debated certain things. Not only do I think that that's accurate for you, I think that all of the ways in which that's a contradictory thing to say are still the areas where you and I disagree. So I do actually think that that's a reasonably consistent label for your beliefs. I just actually do think that some of your beliefs are kind of inconsistent. But I value the progress. I love you for the concessions that you've been able to make. People say that you're bad faith because it's a little difficult to get to some of these topics with you. But we gotta just take the fucking W's. So many hosts are so if you can't convince somebody on one topic, it doesn't mean it's not a win if you convince them on another. Like it's just. I don't know.
Well, no, I think the big issue so that's what I like about this show is that you see it all over on TikTok, where if you tell somebody, well, I agree with a lot of the things that the Democrats do, but I don't like this. And they're like, well, then you're against the Democrat Party. You don't like anything. You're a horrible person. I'm just like, that's not how it works. But I've said this before, I think, on your show. If we had like Bill Clinton Democrats running, I would vote for them 100%. 100% of the time. I would vote for Bill Clinton. If you could clone Bill Clinton, minus the Monica Lewinsky stuff.
Minus the controversies,
don't really blame him for the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. He's a little not great to do when you're married, but I don't blame him. She was kind of good looking. I mean, he kind of swooned him.
It's bad what he did, but just in the current political climate against the type of shit that Trump gets up to, it does seem like the guy cheated on his wife. As far as I'm concerned, like that's really the only sin here. Like,
and then I see the things down here like, but did you vote for Hillary or why not Harris? Hillary Clinton she was not running the same presidential campaign as her husband. Kamala Harris was not going to be the same president as Bill Clinton. It's just not even close. And I think you can agree with that. I mean, Hillary Clinton was a lot closer to Bill Clinton than Harris was, in terms of her policies.
I don't know if I agree that Harris was that far from Biden. What was the big difference?
No, not Biden, Clinton.
Oh, by the way, the chat is pointing out he abused his position of power. Yeah, relationships in the workplace also bad. Forgive me for brain farting that. Yeah, cheating on your wife bad. Abusing, sleeping with your inferiors at your job bad. But again, these are normal evils. Bad. I do not support him for that. It's bad. Got to say it a million times. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Doesn't seem important compared to the things that Trump does. Anyway, what do you think was really the big difference between Harris and Biden? What was?
It was Harris and Clinton, not Biden, Clinton. I was saying that if it was Hillary Clinton, if it was Bill Clinton, I would vote for him. I just said that when you compare Democrats, you cannot compare Bill Clinton and Kamala Harris as if they're the same Democrat. They're not.
No. And I think that this is one of the areas where you and I most fundamentally disagree. I think that for the president, for pragmatic purposes, I think it's obvious that we do need a more Bill Clinton-esque establishment normal Democrat compared to somebody who's further left-leaning. Like, that would make me happy. Like a candidate like Bernie Sanders, who's obviously too old to run, but somebody like him, somebody like a AOC or somebody like that, because I think that the solution that we really need to make rapid progress to fix a lot of the problems in this country is somebody farther left leaning. Like, I think that the leftists are right that if we go back to center in the Democrat Party to win some of the centrist voters, to win some of the Republicans who are mad at Trump, like that might be the Band-Aid that leads us in the wrong direction. That might be the short-sighted solution to the problem in American politics. Right now in the midterms, we've got who we've got in terms of the field, so we need to vote for some people who are going to vote against some of the shit that Trump is trying to get through the legislative branch. But when I think about what I want in American politics in 5 or 10 years, I do disagree very strongly. I don't want another Bill Clinton. I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to go back. I don't want to regress back to the more centrist seeming democratic policies from 20 years ago. I think that's giving too much of a concession to the establishment Democrats, who are also guilty of doing some really horrible things in the Middle East and all that stuff that the leftists are rightfully very, very upset about. I think the better path forward is to get the entire country leaning farther left, like realizing that real progress can happen if we imagine we were running the country like Mamdani, like he's doing some catastrophic things in New York. He's getting in there and fucking with shit. Like he's changing budgets on things he squared the budget deficit. Like he fixed this massive financial problem.
The biggest issue that I take, I don't mean to jump on you, but The biggest issue I take with people saying, well, he balanced the budget. How many millions of dollars did they get from the state so they could balance the budget? That's the issue I take with that statement.
Well, so he did, yeah, I don't know what the exact breakdown was, and I don't know if that number changed what's coming from the state, but I do know some of the things that he did. Like, here's one that's controversial. I'm a high school teacher. I was until very recently. I was really excited about New York to get smaller class sizes, but he kicked the can on that. I think he pushed it 5 or 10 years out and said, okay, hold on, to get this budget balanced, obviously we need to do some things that people aren't going to like. One of them is that he procrastinated getting class sizes smaller because that's expensive to the education system. There's also some pensionees who are going to wait a couple more years to get their pensions now because he increased in age, and that's the sort of thing that's the sort of knob twiddling that somebody with executive authority can do to tweak the budget for their jurisdiction, which is what he's done. So negotiations are just that. It's give and take. If you're gonna have a good negotiation, unless you're some kind of con man, you're necessarily going to give up something you don't want to give up if it's a good negotiation. So we can judge the individual decisions, but he is doing catastrophic things that across the board are changing New York for the better in a way that people who live there are very excited about because it's a breath of fresh air against everything else that's happening. And I also think that New York's a good litmus test. It's the place where these concerns about wages not keeping up with cost of living, the housing crisis, all of these issues of crumbling infrastructure, which New York, because it developed first and poured all that concrete 50 to 150 years ago, now we're in a situation where their infrastructure is literally crumbling and they're first to crumble. They're first to have these structures fail and need replacing, because I'm literally talking about infrastructure. I'm talking about bridges and tunnels and sidewalks and buildings and stuff. Like, New York's got a concrete problem that's brewing over the next few decades, which is why I'm so excited about the budget being squared. New York runs into all those problems first, but those are the problems that are coming for all of us. I live in a smaller city, so they're getting bad here, but they're so much worse in New York that the people were so fed up that they elected a Muslim democratic socialist to fix their problems because he actually had a for the people plan to address it. And I think that we need to learn from New York as a country.
Yeah. So now, the one thing I want to ask you then, so you mentioned, the establishment Democrats and stuff like that. One of your big issues with them is everything.
Steamrolling further, but the chat saying I shouldn't have said catastrophic. I should have said consequential. Yeah, I just meant really big and dramatic. But yes, the outcomes are good. I shouldn't use catastrophic because catastrophic is negative, catastrophes. But yeah, big changes is what I'm talking about. Sorry, IowaGolfer. Continue. Oh, phone call. He'll be back. We are going to talk to Nicola SV after I thank a couple donors, because Fee sent me $1 on Venmo to say, started off watching Dean, then Parker, and then Santana. Now I add Oskar to my morning routine. Thanks for using your voice and platform for to better our country. Trying, doing my best, and I very much appreciate you. Let's see if we got any more from Buy Me a Coffee. So many places I need to check. I need to make a dashboard so I can look at all this stuff quickly. Michael sent me $2 to say we have the same Gretsch. Love that guitar. Which one? The hollow body or the baritone? Probably the hollow body. That's the more popular one. Is that everybody? I think that's everybody. Forgive me if I missed anything. I had a gap there because I was distracted talking to IowaGolfer. No, I think we're good. Linktree in the bio if you want to support the show, or follow me on all the other platforms, all that stuff. But we are going to talk to Nicola SV, and then Proletariat, you'll be next, even if there aren't other ops. Or even if there are other ops. Hello, how old are you?
Hi, I am 34 years old.
You're a Trump supporter?
I am absolutely not a Trump supporter.
Okay, I'll give you 20 seconds before I move on.
Okay, no problem. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit nervous, so I understand.
No worries.
So you were talking earlier about Plattner versus. You can check my page. I'm very much. I'm far too left. Okay. So anyway, so I was looking at Plattner and the whole Jenny Rasicot thing on the internet, and I was seeing that there's Plattner was accused of what was essaying someone from his past. Someone spoke up. There was someone spoke up. I'm seeing that this Jenny Rasicot has a connection to someone named Lindsay Fifield, who's like a digital marketing director, Stand for America PAC. Mm-hmm. Listen, I always say believe you have to believe women in these sort of situations. However, and I'm speaking as someone who I've had men be accused of assault. I've had a woman be accused of sexual assault in my community. I get it. I think we really have to see what the internet digs up and what we uncover. I completely support him dropping out for now, but I really hope that this is just this is a tactic and we can get him back in the race. Do you know if he's completely out for good or can he rejoin?
Yeah, I haven't followed it closely, and I am going to move on to another caller, but I need to get read on it. I'm really hesitant to say that I want him in. There was an error. I think the article, I think I read his opposition as the victim's name. That was an error in the article because it was anyway. I need to study it, but I don't really think that's a good take. I'm willing to lose a Senate seat to not elect a rapist. I spent too much time talking about. I don't know the details well enough to sit here and speak confidently. I don't know exactly what the circumstances of the claims are. I need to get better research on it, and that's obviously on me for not being prepared today to talk about it. But it's nuclear stuff, man. It's can't be having sexual assaulters in office. That's the thing. How you doing, the proletariat?
I'm all right. I literally only need 20 seconds. This is not politics related. This is related to your musical taste. I wanted to give you another tab to open up if you're not aware of it. I'm obsessed with folk music. I actually collect original folkways recording in my record collection. If you're not aware, Moses Ash, the founder of Folkways, actually left the entire Folkways catalog to the American people as part of a trust administered by the Smithsonian. If you just look up Smithsonian Folkways recordings, you can have every single Folkways record ever produced, the audio from it, for free. That was part of what his will decreed. Smithsonian manages the trust, and you can request any recording from the Folkways catalog. If you want a physical medium of it, they'll charge you a small fee to burn it to a CD, but otherwise you can access the entire Folkways recording catalog for $0.
Oh, how lovely. I can see they got like Pete Seeger and everybody on here. That's awesome.
It's just it's a national trust thing that not a lot of people know about, and Folkways is like, if you like labor music, if you like Appalachia, if you like that old Americana, Moses Ash spent his entire life cataloging like the voice of the labor movement, the voice of the miners, the voice of people whose voices would have never otherwise been heard, and he put it on vinyl. And then when he passed away, he left them to the Smithsonian with the only rule being the American people must be able to access the entire catalog for free whenever they want.
I like one of the things I've been wanting to do just like in my own music is just dig through some old Americana and try to breathe some new life into some forgotten songs, like do some covers, because I have this like Johnny Cash-esque baritone. Yeah.
If you ever need help digging, like I run a record store in my free time. I've been building it lately, and I've always been I'm the labor historian for my union shop. So a lot of what I do is digging into that old labor music. Like half of my Folkways recordings right now are just Pete Seeger, for example.
Hell yeah. Thanks for telling me about that. I might reach out to you about some stuff.
No worries.
W's in the chat for the proletariat for, making me remember that I'm a folk musician. It's easy to forget day to day that I do have other projects. Now that the show can afford to hire staff because people have made the show profitable enough that I can distribute some of the labor and try to make the show better. I have had a little bit more time to just practice more and play more music, sing songs, write songs, that sort of stuff. Joseph sent me $1 to add to the stack. He says, check out the artist Steven Wilson. I've heard of Steven Wilson, but I'll open a tab to give him a fresher listen. Yeah, it's fun. The tab set is filling up with like music recommendations instead of like bad sources about trans people and stuff. We're gonna talk to Deecher. Is Deecher a friendly? I hope not. I want to debate. I want to do one more debate today. Hello, how old are you?
Good evening. I'm 18.
18. Evening. What time zone are you in?
Well, for me, it's almost 7 p.m.
Where are you?
Well, I'm in Europe at the moment, in the Netherlands.
Okay. Are you friendly? What's the purpose of the call?
Well, just maybe a discussion.
Mostly just looking for Trump supporters for debates today. I do often allow friendly time at the end, so I could have kept him up, but we've kind of been doing friendly time for like a half hour. So for Deezy is still here. Like, is he the only? Do we want to get here? Chat decide. I know Deezy was annoying. I'm going to say not economics. We're not going to talk about economics with Deezy again. Should I bring him up and demand that we talk about anything other than economics? And I will ban him if he says the word beef. I think somebody paid for that to become a rule. I'm willing to accept that bribe. Because Deezy's it. Well, we got Clay Street. I don't remember if Clay Streets are friendly or not, but we'll give them a try. I'm convincing the chat. The chat is split on whether or not. We got Swerve saying fuck it, but we're going to check out Clay Street first. Maybe we'll get a fresh debate with somebody I haven't spoken to before. How old are you?
Hey, what's going on? 28.
28. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I'd say so. I guess I've been listening to you for like the last 5 minutes, and you're just looking for a topic to debate on. Are you pro transgender in women's sports?
Yes.
Interesting.
Can I give you? Well, you seem patient and good faith. Can I have like 60 seconds to tell you why I think we should allow trans people to play on their gendered team, not their biological sex team?
Absolutely.
Okay, I think it's sensible and obvious to everybody that we divide sports into two groups. Historically, we've done that by, genitals, which we expect to reflect what their chromosomes are, male and female biologically. That's been pretty good. That's definitely it's been a good split. But I think we have a better one. The experts who study these things recognize that gender is this thing that has to do with how society expects you to present based on your biological sex, or some norms that exist around that. But because they're just societal norms, it is just constructed by society. And there are some people for whom that gender identity does not match their biological situation, their chromosomes. And I do think that it is better to let those people play on their gendered team, because what we're after by dividing the sports at all is fairness and safety. And there's just no evidence to suggest that we're improving fairness and safety by obstinately insisting that the best way to split them has to be chromosomes as opposed to gender identity, especially in consideration of the fact that nobody's saying that you should be like, I shouldn't be able to play on a women's team by declaring myself trans and going tomorrow. I should have a doctor's note saying that I've been doing hormone replacement therapy that gets rid of a lot of those concerns about safety and fairness, which nobody reasonable on the left is suggesting we do anything other than that. And it's going to vary from sport to sport, and there's going to be experts who are going to make those decisions for those people about what the requirements for hormone replacement therapy for particular athletes in particular sports are. I'm not enough of an expert on sports to see those things. I just have never seen any data that suggests that trans athletes present a danger to fairness and safety, which is what we're after by dividing the sports in the first place.
Okay. I mean, I don't even think you need data. I think it's more common sense. Biologically, there are differences.
No, why? That's fucking nonsense, dude. For hundreds of years in America, it was common sense to enslave black people. For even longer, it was common sense that we didn't let women vote. For even longer than that, it was common sense that women can't get their husbands arrested for raping them because we didn't define rape as a thing that a husband could do to a woman. That was common sense to people. Common sense is fucking dangerous, dude. Humans are stupid. Data is the most important thing.
Fair. Now, could we both agree that a genetically born male is, on average, stronger?
Yeah, that's why we divide them, and that sort of advantage is taken away by the sorts of things I'm saying we should require of trans athletes.
Right, but that's a very gray area. I mean, how can you confirm? Like that, you'd need so.
I recognize that it's gray area. Why are you asserting that you're right when the data says that I'm right, when what we're after is fairness and safety? Because the data does not suggest that trans athletes are a danger to fairness or safety.
I'd have to see that data. That data just does not sound plausible. There are bigger dangers to it's that there's a lack of data about these people overperforming. You can find an individual example where you can be upset that one person won a medal that you think somebody else should have won. But sports are inherently unfair. You get born into the body that you're born. It's unfair that certain basketball players are so fucking tall. Like, that makes them better at basketball. Are we supposed to start in certain sports, in combat sports, we have weight classes to address that. We have to divide it even further than the genders just because it's so dangerous for safety in things like combat sports. So experts make those sorts of decisions, and you need a good reason to create that sort of division, and you're just trying to use your common sense, which I pointed to. You said yourself is fair, is like a silly thing to do, but the burden is on you to say that these incidences of unfairness or harms and safety are bad, like or are present. Like, it just isn't an issue. If you're gonna show me that you care about fairness and safety in sports, like, you should also be working really hard to investigate all the athletes who are obviously still doing things to get around the rules for using hormones, not to get their body closer to their gender identity, but just to cheat in the first place. Testosterone is a big problem in fairness in sports as a supplement. It's not because of trans people, it's because of men taking it to get better at what they're doing. Some women even take it a little bit depending on the sport. Like, there are other issues of fairness and safety that you could do more good for society by addressing. Trans people just aren't it, man. Like, why do you give a shit?
Yeah. I would say you brought up an interesting point, and I want to hear more about your opinion. So in order for a biological female to transition to a male, they would take testosterone, right?
Usually, yeah.
Okay, so you can allow a transgender individual to take testosterone. However, you cannot allow a male to take testosterone. So I feel like to even the playing field, you would have to allow men to take testosterone as well.
You're failing to recognize that on average the men are starting with a higher amount of testosterone. What the trans men are doing is getting their testosterone level up to the sort of acceptable level, so that when we test athletes for testosterone to check if they're cheating, we go, oh, you're within a normal range. This is acceptable. We don't think you've been messing with your numbers. Nobody's saying that trans men can just suddenly, like, because they have the excuse to use testosterone, then use too much testosterone and give themselves an advantage. And again, I would like to point out that if this is worth our legislative attention, if this is worth the attention of the 700 people watching this show right now, if this is worth getting brought up on my show every single day instead of the topic that I really care about, which is the fact that the president is a rapist that doesn't obey the Constitution, I think that's a way bigger problem for fairness and safety, especially for women, than any of this fucking like non-issue shit. Like, I'm just not impressed. I think that it comes from a place of hate for trans people instead of an actual assessment of what's going on with fairness and safety, which I think the only reasonable thing, the way to do that is with data, which you started the call by telling me is not what you use. By the way, I'm going to bring up Ezra. Ezra's a trans man. Hello, Ezra.
Hi, how are you doing, Oscar?
Oh, another one of those days.
Another one of those days. I get it. So I'm a trans guy. I take testosterone, and there is a constant number that we have to do every time I go into the doctor of taking my blood work and making sure that it's within a viable range. There's constantly things on my chart that say, hey, this is dangerous. As a woman, you can't be above this number. So that's a really fun thing to look at. But it is well within the range of a normal adult man. As for sports, I think that Oscar has a really great standpoint of, like, the way that wrestlers do it is fascinating to me. Doing it by weight and category like that is a great way of making it fair for everyone and competing within those ranges. If you're worried about trans men taking too much testosterone and making it less fair for everyone else around them, what kind of restrictions would you think of putting in place?
Clay, are you still there? Did we lose him?
Uh-oh.
I feel like there is noise coming from his microphone, so he's not muted. Some of this white noise is him. I see the ring glowing. Clay! Did I break him? I appreciate that you think my stance is sensible.
I definitely do. But this is also coming from someone that hasn't really been in sports that much, so I don't know the ins and outs of how it works. So I am more than welcome to learn something new from how it actually works from people that do it all the time.
Yeah. I'm not an expert, like I don't pretend to know all the nuances of all these things. And there's lots of topics where I just say like, oh, we just have experts for that. Like if we were trying to, I always bring up doctors as an example. Society is so obvious that the doctor decides what type of heart surgery you get. It's so obvious that the doctor decides which type of medicine you get prescribed. Like, why are these chuds so concerned with what like less than 1% of the population are doing? Because even among trans individuals in this country who are
very small group, it is yet a very small group within that group who are concerned with playing, academic sports or professional sports. So it's just such a fucking non-issue. There are more intentional cheaters in sports in this country than there are trans athletes in this country.
Yeah. Not enough for there to be a trans league, which is what a lot of people try to recommend.
Well, and that's just it. I always, especially when we talk about high school athletics, you're gonna make the one trans person in the school be on a team all on their own. Part of why we value sports in school is because it's part of what is an upbringing and a part of a childhood, part of our academic experience in American culture. And to say that because somebody is trans, they have to be rejected from that out of concern for fairness for other people is fucking unfair. These are human beings. The social rejection. You can speak for it. You're a trans person. I'll bring Raven up because they're also in the queue, and because I'm not trans, but I can see from the trans people around me that part of what hurts so much about the life, the hand you're dealt as a trans person, is that it's hard to participate in the normal things. I recognize that in school, the girls and the boys are sometimes a little different and a little clickier and play different games in the yard and stuff like that, and to say that you don't get to play with the girls if you're a trans girl, that's fucking heartbreaking. You should be welcome at the sleepover. You should be allowed to play on the soccer team. You should be able to do the things that a girl is excited about doing when they're in school. To take that away for people out of what I think is a concern for a non-issue, it's dreadful. Dreadful. How you doing, Raven?
Good, how are you?
I'm sad. I'm sad that we're still talking about trans issues on my show about American politics when the president's a fucking rapist.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. But to kind of add on to what's been said, there's a lot of contention on whether or not a trans woman has inherent advantages in sports. And if we're really talking about advantages, they don't have any advantages if they transition before puberty hits. And if they choose to transition after puberty, there's pretty good science that says that after 2 years that there is actually no advantage, and that they could be actually disadvantaged because lung capacity goes significantly down. Oxygen transfer rates are horrid. Most of us have blood pressure issues. I can't go on roller coasters anymore because I'll pass out.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of disadvantages that come with the hormone replacement theory. And another great anecdotal evidence is that I used to be able to lift my wife above my head with ease, and now I struggled to scoop ice cream last night.
Whereas I accidentally set everything down way too hard after I started taking testosterone.
Yeah, exactly. And another point being is that my testosterone currently is less than the average cis woman. I have almost zero testosterone, whereas cis women have more than zero.
Kronos just sent a $50 super chat and said W trans hosts. So I know Raven's Venmo, but Ezra, get me a pay link. I'm gonna send you each $25. That's not my money.
Oh, thank you for the bonus.
Raven's also an employee of the show. So, but yeah, $25 for Raven and for Ezra. Ezra, do you have pay links, or can you just message me something?
I'll go ahead and message you something.
Yeah, that's not my money. Thank you, Kronos.
But yeah, I'd like to point out one more thing, and it's just kind of more of a meta thing to consider, is that the people that have an issue with trans women in sports because of their natural advantage also don't consider the fact that you have to inherently see them as something other than a woman to think that they have any advantage that isn't, outside of the realm that a normal cis woman has or potentially has. Because there are plenty of women out there, like Amain Khalif, the boxer, who just are more inherently, their body processes testosterone better, and so she's just ripped as fuck, but she's a cis woman. So cis women can have those advantages as well, and until you can medically prove that the quote-unquote advantage that a trans woman has is more significant than the advantage that a cisgender woman could have with some of those, natural occurrences, then it's really moot.
Well, right, and then that just gets down to show me this is happening. Show me this is a problem.
Right, that too. And another point is Olympics have let trans women compete for 20 years and none of them have ever won.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing I always say is that if you if your sport is, basketball or whatever, right? And you're 5 feet tall, left, never mind your gender, you're not going to the Olympics. Sorry. Like, life is fucking unfair. Sports is fucking unfair. You can trip and break your knee on a rock while going on a nice hike on a Sunday afternoon, and that can end your career as an athlete. Somebody could shove you over because they mugged you and took your wallet, and that could end your athletic career if you fall on your leg wrong. Like, life is fucking unfair, and we make these rules to try to make the average loadout for a person who happens to be born here on Earth less unfair. And I just don't think that's the argument any of these people who are trying to be anti-trans athletes are making. Thank you, Kronos. You sent me another $10 and told me to keep that one for myself. W Kronos.
Aw. I wanted to shout out Science Freak Dog over on YouTube for saying that also intersex people exist, which is a huge addition to the argument. If you're taking into account all these different nuances of the human experience when it comes to sports and making things fair for each other, but also seeing the limits in which humans can perform at, why are we also leaving other people out of the conversation?
Yeah. I mean, it's not based in a comprehensive understanding of the subject matter. Do you guys want to talk to RC?
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
Okay. I think we're going to do that after I read a couple donations. We got Joe Cooper. Did I read Joe Cooper's message? You might get it read twice. He said, centrists don't exist. In my opinion, there's a faction that might say they're centrist but would never vote for a Dem, even if Clinton. Another faction that agree with the Dem socialist platform but say they're a centrist. There's no true appetite for a moderate Dem or center-right candidate. Yeah, I do think that, like, I kind of agree. I kind of think that we just need to win by having the left win instead of trying to merge them into one party that's going to keep bombing children in Gaza. Like, that's... The leftists are fucking right about that part of it, 100%. So just got to keep saying that because people keep saying that I don't have that belief when I do. Caitlin sent me $5 to say one of the big reasons we have separate men and women's sports is due to some of the physicality we allow in men's sports. If you regulate that, cis men and women could play together too. I think that's going to be very, very different sport to sport. Though I do think there are some sports where it might make sense to not have them separated. There are certain sports where women don't have so significant a disadvantage as men. Things like tennis, but I bet the tennis players would have stronger opinions about that than I do. But anyway, all interesting stuff. I doubt we're going to have any of that type of nuance with RC on the show, so strap in, everybody.
Yeah.
Hello, RC. Remind us how old you are.
Hello, I'm 30.
Right. I'm going to let my co-host handle this one.
I'll take the reins if Ezra doesn't mind.
Go for it.
Hey, look.
RC, shut up! I'm talking.
I said nothing.
I would like to ask you how you feel about the difference between sex and gender.
Can I say something?
Yes, I asked a question. You can proceed.
All right, I was going to extend an olive branch. I'm not here to fight, because I know that there are people on my side.
I know you hold transphobic views, so I'm not really interested in your olive branches.
So you just want me to be an asshole? Is that what you want?
We're here to debate, so you can debate without being an asshole if you have the emotional maturity.
I'm trying. I was gonna try to say something.
So I asked you a question. Let's get to it.
That bridges any sort of gap. And if that's not what you want, if you just want me to be belligerent,
I'm not really interested in friendship with reprehensible people.
Let's
just get to the topic.
We just know you better than that, RC. It's not genuine, and we know it. Answer the question.
Okay. So that's what you want me to just be, and you want to be an asshole to me? I'll be an asshole.
You just asked that question. I just answered it.
You don't have to be an asshole to debate. You can just be neutral and stick to the topic.
I am. I was gonna talk about the topic.
You're saying if you
and I was gonna make a discernible difference between people on my side of what they want with trans people and what my position is. To be clear.
Can we just get to the question I asked you? Do you think that there is a difference between sex and gender?
I'm just making it clear. You want to be an asshole to me? Okay. So that's how this conversation is going to go. That's how you people are. That's how the left is.
I love red herrings.
Okay.
I'm going to kick you if you don't answer the question, RC. You're already on thin ice on my show. Like, I'm not doing it.
Wait. I'm on thin ice. What can I do to break through the ice?
Answer the fucking question.
What can I do to break?
What
word do I have to say to break through the ice? Can I say the F word?
To the question.
Is that the word?
Is there a difference between gender and sex?
How I can, of course,
one of the words.
Of course not. I'm not an R slur. Can tell me what I need to do to break through the ice, you little skin F word, you little skinny F word. Please tell me.
No, I'm not impressed by you putting, like, saying F slur instead of saying the word, dude. Like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm not fucking doing it. RC's banned from the show. Fuck it. I don't need the donation goal. I'm done with it. It's disingenuous.
Imagine being so immature that you can't even answer a question without crashing out and crying.
Yeah, he said, what word could I say? And I said, either yes or no, because it's a yes or no question. And then he did. But I mean, yeah, there's people in the chat who don't realize that that he's like a regular caller who we know well. So yeah, we did just look a little bit like a bunch of assholes for handling him in that way. But no, I stand by it absolutely, completely.
RC is the type of person you'd expect to see at that white nationalist march the other day.
I'm sure he was there. If he was there, it's because he didn't sell enough copies of his book Beyond the Queue to afford a plane ticket to DC.
Right. But the point I wanted to get to him, for anybody that was interested, is I was going to ask him that if when he sees a woman that he considers attractive walking down the street, if he knows what their genitals are right off the bat. Because the answer is no. I've been, mistaken for a cis woman so many fucking times. So you don't know people's genitals, but you're attracted to their gender and how they present to society.
Yeah. I mean, and we all know that like, it's such a disingenuous place to say, oh, I'm not an R slur. Of course they're the same thing. And it's like, yeah, dude, all of the doctors disagree with you. Like, what do you mean?
You have to actively deny medicine to hold transphobic views.
The Discord is very happy about the RC ban. See, I've realized it's enough fun to hop around in other people's lives and just go cook them on other people's shows, because so many people are so bad at handling RC that even through the little disadvantage you get for having the delay for not being host, because there is a host advantage for debating. That's one thing that's like a little. If I could level it, if we could make the speed of light infinite and have no audio delay, I'd prefer that, because I want a level playing field. But there is a host advantage in terms of over talking someone. But even without that advantage, I can control that guy on other people's lives. And I like to spread the wisdom on how to handle RC. But he's just not worth the fucking airtime on my show. There's nothing genuine. He comes up and wants to, he wanted to create this situation where I have to explain to the audience. We handled him like that because he's a white nationalist. He's a Christian nationalist. The guy's a monster. The guy's a dangerous monster. So we don't accept it for a second when he says he's going to give us a fucking olive branch. You're right, Raven. You hit the nail on the head. We don't accept olive branches from such characters. We accept olive branches from such characters as IowaGolfer, who can hop up and say hi again. But maybe Raven might disagree with me on that. I know Raven has slightly different opinions of IowaGolfer than I do. But how you doing, IowaGolfer?
I know he's mostly
I'm back. Sorry about
genuine.
that.
Yeah, mostly
really
genuine. I would agree with.
I love IowaGolfer.
I love IowaGolfer because I think he's somebody that I can get through to eventually.
I love you guys too.
Aw.
Can't wait till we can meet in person.
No. Yeah, me neither. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm gonna try and get back up into the city. I'm hoping next month sometime. I know my wife's best friend who lives in St. Cloud.
Uh-oh, we're losing you, Iowa.
We're gonna get back up. We're gonna get back up there soon.
I gotta buy you that beer. Gotta congratulate you on becoming well, you were already a father, I think. But you have a new baby.
Second time father, I think, right?
Second time
Yeah,
father.
I was. I got two now. Yeah. I got two.
Hope they're doing good.
Since Raven and I are both up
they're doing
here,
great.
do you have any specific questions when it comes to the trans experience or anything that makes you uncomfortable that we can help you understand? Because I can speak for myself, but I think I know Raven enough to go, we're pretty open to hearing you out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't have any questions really about it.
Do you think that the Republicans are on the right track?
Not necessarily, no.
All right, that's valid. Appreciate that.
Yeah, not necessarily. I mean, like I said, I don't understand, the feelings that you guys have.
Yeah.
And I understand that. But when I say, I actually had somebody call me a Nazi because of this the other day, where they were asking me, they said, well, will you bring your child up with LGBTQ teachings and stuff like that. And I said, no, I won't. And they go, well, why not? I said, because you're transphobic? I'm like, no, it's because I live a heterosexual life with me and my wife. That's what I know, and that's what I'm going to teach my kids, is that, you know, you have a mom, you have a dad. Some kids have a mom and a mom. Some kids have two dads, and that's fine too. But you have a mom and a dad. Now,
My
if you
question,
want...
yeah, sorry for interrupting. I was just going to ask, what if your kid comes to you and wants to be those things?
No issue.
That's nice, even if
I
they're
have no
trans?
issue with that. Yeah, I have no
I
issue with that
appreciate
as long as we can. I mean, like I said, if they're young children, I would probably go and find like a therapist or something like that, and
absolutely
try and see where they're coming at this from. But yeah,
And that is absolutely the right call, because us as normal people have no idea what we're talking about when it comes to that deep level stuff with children.
Well, also, when I was like 7 years old, I'm pretty sure I was telling my parents that I was a Tyrannosaurus Rex or something. So, you know, it's got to let kids be kids to a certain degree.
That's actually a little bit of a transphobic view there, Oscar.
Really? Really? Hold on.
And that's
okay, wait, I want to hear about that.
Like
because the difference between that is some kids don't go to sleep crying because they're not a dinosaur. You know, they don't feel icky in their tummy because they're not a dinosaur.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to equate that equivalency. I was just saying that a child saying something about their identity when they're super young isn't necessarily a flag for that sort of situation happening.
Yes, but we do have to be careful about which right-wing dog whistles we're using.
Sure.
Good to learn, though.
Yes. But yeah, so I obviously know you weren't intending transphobia, but we got to be careful about dog whistles.
Yeah, I do have
If
to be
I
careful
may,
running the
Oscar?
show. Yeah, what's up?
If I may, I just noticed a comment. I know you guys don't really adjust comments very much. I just had someone in the comments, Carolina, just said they can't stand me, and I'm just kind of wondering why they can't stand me.
No, they can answer. I'll take a moment to actually just read a couple donations while that answer comes in, because Lucky Phil sent a bigger chunk than he normally sends. He sent $63 on Buy Me a Coffee. He said, the chuds don't know what they want. If a trans man played in a women's sport, would that be fair? If a trans man who is male presenting, jacked with a full-on beard, but with women's anatomy, would that make them feel safe? They always go on about trans people. If they go into a woman's bathroom, they typically enter a private stall to take a piss, wash their hands, and leave. Stop trying to make it sexual, weirdos. Please send $20 to each of your co-hosts. All right, hold on, let me change my note. Lucky Phil, for paying the hosts today. You guys are getting $45 each, not $25 each.
We're making bank, Raven.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And Jen, over on YouTube Super Chat, Jen said that YouTube likes you for $2. So you got some fans, IowaGolfer. And then Mr. or Kronos said wanted to relay Mr. EFQ's message: RC equals racist cuck for $2. Thank you, Kronos. Did we get an answer in the chat?
Yeah. Whoever's sending gifts, send them to Oscar, send them to Raven. They do more work than I do. I just come up to talk.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Well, I will say, IowaGolfer, I think it
Carolina
takes
did answer.
I think it takes. I'm not the only one feeling the same way. Where else did she say? Because you do this in every live. Yeah, I don't. I think from talking to you as long as I do, IowaGolfer, I think you have a hard time demonstrating how good faith you might be. I think that a lot of the time you sound a little more hateful than I think you are, because I generally don't think you're a hateful person. I just think, like we had the other caller talking about common sense, and I think that you've grown up in an environment where some of your common sense impulses are hateful. But I don't think you're hateful in your heart. I think you just have those reflexes. And that's when we talk about deconstructing. Like, I think that IowaGolfer is a person who's going through deconstructing, because there's a bunch of things that seemed really obvious to you when we first started talking back in February or March or wherever that was, which don't seem so obvious now. And you've really changed the way you talk about some of those things, because you're willing to recognize when you're wrong, which so many callers aren't. Sometimes it's just a little hard to get you to recognize that you're wrong.
Yeah, like, so like right here, she's saying, I cry about the LGBTQ community and I'm teaching them to hate. That's not true. Like I said, the one thing I'm grateful for is my sister-in-law. I love her to death. She's an LGBTQ community member. She's a lesbian. I love her to death. She is one of my daughter's best friends. She loves her TT Dylan. And I can't wait for her to grow up with her TT in her life, seeing that TT has a wife, you know, and I don't have an issue with that. I don't understand how I so hate. I really don't.
Oh, no, you're fine. I think that I can have a little bit of insight here because I grew up in itty bitty small town Missouri, and IowaGolfer, you remind me of like my brother-in-law and the people I grew up with, genuinely the good faith ones that actually heard me out whenever I came out and have been asking me questions for a majority of the time that I've been out. I think that you have this very down-to-earth sensibility that I see a lot in the good folk that I spend my time with. My wife and I have a joke about quote, quote, city liberals, because there's definitely a very big difference between the kind of people that actually live in rural areas and what people think they are like. I definitely think that you have a different perspective than they do, but it sounds like you are very open to teaching your kids, like showing them that this actually does exist. It's just like, this is something that exists in other people's lives, and this is how other people live. And this is not a bad thing. You're not actively saying like, these are terrible people and these are the people that we must rant and rave against, you know?
I'll also add in that for Iowa's perspective of being a parent, I don't really want him talking to his kids about LGBTQ issues because he doesn't have the experience to really give it, you know, the true depth that it needs.
Well, I'm not.
It sounds like Auntie is helping out a lot too.
Well, it sounds like Auntie's helping out. I got to tread lightly as somebody who's not representing the community, but I do like the idea of him saying some people have two dads, some people have two moms. That's kind of the upbringing that I had, and the exposure that I had to it. I went to elementary school in the gayest neighborhood in New York City, so I had a lot of exposure to gay culture and other related groups. Just when I was really, really young, which is why when I got to middle school, I thought it was weird that like kids would call each other gay as an insult. It didn't make sense to me. I was just like, what a funny thing to point out about a person. I would tell them like, I'm not gay. You're not right about that. Why are you calling me gay? Like I didn't get it because I'd grown up in such an accepting environment. And if you normalize it in that way, where you just say, yeah, some people are like this, it's fine. I think that goes a long way for children.
Yeah, for sure.
Does anybody have anything else? I think we're going to wrap the show promptly at 12 today because I have some evening plans.
I'm all set. Thanks for having me. Love you, chat. Thanks for being a good person, Iowa.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
you guys.
Thank you so much for having me up. I think that that's something that can often be a big divisive thing when it comes to like the back and forth hateful rhetoric, is this idea of like the I don't want to make it sound in any way that I'm like I'm better than all these other super out and like loud liberals. I definitely have lived in small itty bitty towns all my life, and I think that there's good things that we can learn from both of us, and it takes more voices in the choir to be able to actually have a full experience.
Absolutely.
W. Raven or W. Ezra, sorry.
That's just so. I think, and
we can get some W's for IowaGolfer for being good faith.
Still kind of disorder. Yeah. If you don't mind, real.
Oh, if your service allows, yeah. Oh, he's trying.
He's trying real hard.
We believe in your cell service. Iowa must have gotten his Trump phone. I might have to cut him off. Here, I'm going to kick Raven and Ezra and do the outro while we can see if Iowa's still next. Thanks, everybody. Follow the second account, Oskar Quentin 2, down here if you want to make sure you can catch the show when it eventually happens. That has to happen on that account because I am due to catch a 3-day ban for fucking something. Iowa, are you there? Oh, I was not going to make it back, but he'll be back on the show. He's a regular caller. Thanks for watching, everybody. Linktree in the bio to follow the show on all the other platforms. Catch the clips everywhere. Catch the VOD form on YouTube. And, get the staff paid. And Ezra, if you're still listening, remember to send me your Venmo so I can get you paid, because some of the donations were for Ezra and Raven today for helping out and co-hosting the show. W-Chat, W-Staff, W-Mods, W-Discord, all that stuff. L-Trolls. The trolls fucking failed today. I thought they were coming for me. Pitiful. Goodbye, TikTok. And goodbye, YouTube.